This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Early Wednesday morning, a registered sex offender walked into 3 homes in North Fargo. Valley News Team's Alex Larson spoke to one victim who is now speaking about what happened that morning.
When I came around the corner thinking it was one of my roommates, it was Daniel Grinder.
NDSU student Aliana Hofek says she had unlocked the door Grinder used to enter her home just minutes before. Hofek says she lives with 2 other young women.
It's a terrifying feeling knowing that someone so dangerous just walked into your house without a second thought. He seemed like he felt like he had every right to be there.
Hofek says she caught Grinder entering the house and immediately called the police. One of her roommates confronted Grinder in the kitchen, where he was found playing with Hofek's dog, but refused to leave.
He lifted up his shirt to show that he didn't have any weapons. She eventually got him to leave, and as he was leaving, he said, "Give me 10 to 20 minutes to leave and I'll put $200 in your mailbox."
According to police, they later found a handgun in Hofek's window well. In the police report, it said Grinder had shown the gun to other residents of the other homes he had broken into that night. He had also cut the power in her garage.
I think it is one of those things where it definitely makes you think again, and it makes you more aware of your comings and goings and kind of who could be watching you.
Grinder has a history with law enforcement. In 2007, he was convicted of gross sexual imposition. His victims were all under 15 years old at the time.
It doesn't really hit you how big of a deal it was, but after a few days you kind of start to realize, you're like, okay, I am afraid to sleep at my house now. I'm constantly locking the doors. Anytime I hear the wind, it makes you paranoid.
Alex Larson, Valley News Live.
Grinder was arrested a few blocks from Hofek's home later that night. Tonight, a 31-year-old woman is in the hospital recovering from injuries after an accident at the Crystal Sugar Factory in Crookston. According to the Polk County Sheriff's Office, the woman became pinned between a beet truck and a piece of industrial equipment after the truck was trying to turn around. Witnesses at the scene told deputies the woman was only stuck for a few seconds before the truck pulled away. We're told the woman is currently in stable condition. Authorities are investigating a crash after a 17-year-old driver sideswiped a Bagley police squad car last night just before 11:30 p.m. A Minnesota State Patrol report says the teen driver was traveling east on Highway 2 when she struck the right side of the police vehicle. The squad car was stopped on the right side of the highway conducting a traffic stop at the time. A 16-year-old boy was taken to a local hospital to be treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Currently, there's no word on if the charges will be filed against the teen driver. 7 horses were killed this morning during a crash involving a cargo truck. The accident happened around 7 a.m. on Highway 29 near Wadena. According to Sergeant Jesse Graybo of the Minnesota State Patrol, the horses were walking on the highway when the cargo truck struck them, killing them all. Graybo says no one was injured in the accident, and the horses are believed to be owned by the members of the Amish community. North Dakota is offering license refunds to nearly 30,000 deer hunters due to an outbreak of a viral disease in the western part of the state. This is the second straight year that the state's Game and Fish Department is offering refunds to thousands of hunters. The department says it has received nearly 1,000 reports of dead deer after a disease known as EHD surfaced in late August. A Game and Fish wildlife veterinarian said one theory could be that prolonged drought conditions in the state and record-breaking heat in October created conditions favorable for a more viral spread. The heaviest concentration of reported deaths is along the Missouri River, especially north and south of Bismarck and Mandan. Weeks after a 10-year-old girl was run over by a semi in Crookston, the biker community is rallying around the young girl and her family. Today, over 50 motorcycles took to the streets for the cause. Valley News Team's Aaron Walling has more.
Over 50 motorcycles rode through the streets of Crookston as part of a rally for a 10-year-old girl who was hit by a semi-truck while riding her bike earlier this month. Kaylee Acevedo was on her bike at a corner sidewalk in Crookston, where she was hit and became trapped under the wheels of the semi, resulting in her having her right leg amputated. And now multiple biker communities have come together to help raise support for Kaylee and her family.
Just to see everybody willing to help out, knowing that when stuff like this happens, a community can come together and everyone will help out.
Bikers and motorists came from many different areas, some from East Grand Forks to those that came from the Fargo-Moorhead area. They wanted to be there to help out. The amount of bikers that showed up surprised those that organized the event.
I mean, in reality, it's amazing. I mean, it shows all the support for this little girl. I didn't expect it to be no more than our little group within 20 bikes. I mean, and we threw the flyer out there, and everybody hit it. Valley News Live hit it.
When we first started talking about it, we're like, oh man, hopefully it's not just us and our little group of friends. And then once we posted it on Facebook and started seeing all these people interested and seeing it on the news, I mean, people were seeing it on the news in other states.
In Crookston, Aaron Walling, Valley News Live.
Bismarck-based Glosser Images shut down several weeks ago, leaving many couples scrambling to find someone to cover their events. Well, we're happy to update you that most couples have found replacement photographers. Bismarck couple Tia and her husband Nick got married today. Their photographer from Montana reached out to them after hearing about the closure. Although the Bismarck couple is hoping to get the money they spent back, they didn't let that overshadow their big day.
All of our friends and family, and just have everyone come together. And that guy especially, just to have us have our special day together and just have everyone come together. Yeah, it's been amazing.
So far, Glosser Images, there have been more than 450 complaints filed against Glosser Images with the Attorney General's office. President Joe Biden honored fallen heroes at the 40th Annual National Peace Officers Memorial Service today. In his remarks, the president spoke about funding for community policing.
It's a hard time to be a police officer in America. So I want to make sure you have the tools to be the partners and the protectors your communities need. That when you look at what your communities need and what you're being asked to do, there are going to be more resources, not fewer resources to help you do your job. That's why I propose we invest again in community policing. We know it works.
President Biden says he is proposing $300 million to support community policing. Later on Valley News Live at 10. The holiday season is coming up and health officials have recommendations on how to spend time with family and friends safely. But up next, meteorologist Nathan Hopper has a look at your weather in the week ahead.